This dress is one you can wear interchangeably. Where you wear as the front today, you can decide to wear it as the back tomorrow because there is no zipper on the front or on the back as the case may be. But there are so many highlights of this dress that I like so much, starting from the flounce that drapes nicely to the beautiful cowl neck on the back. And let me tell you, the back cowl neck and the front cowl neck is not the same method of cutting, and you will be seeing that in this video. Aside that, I'll be showing you how to go about this dress from scratch to finish. Let's do it. Here on my pattern paper, I mapped out a space for front and back. Then for the front space, I have my shoulder line, my bust point line, my waistline for now. Now we are going to start with the front pattern, and on the shoulder line, I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'll go down to the chest line. Now for this dress, there is a waist seam. Okay, but if you don't want to do that, I will be showing you how to go about it in this video, how you go about your own without having any waist joining. Just keep on watching. After marking the shoulder measurement and the chest line, I'm going to mark my standard neck width of 3 inches. Then I'll come down here to 1.5 and connect from that 1.5 to the 3 inches neck width, and this will be the shoulder slope. Once that is done, I'm going to mark my bust span here on the waistline. That's the nipple to nipple divided by 2. I'll mark it also on the bust point line, then use my ruler to connect it like this. Then for my dart intake, I'll be doing 1.5, which is 0.75 on both sides of this bust span line. I'll mark it, then go ahead and use my ruler to give it the dart shape on both sides like you see me do it here. Now I'm going to be taking my bust measurement divided by 4 here on the chest line. Then on the waistline, I'll take the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the 1.5 that intake. I'll replace it. Then once I'm done with the measurement, I'm going to connect it to the bust measurement like this. Now, what I'm going to be doing is to cover the armhole, and to do that effectively, you're going to get the midpoint of this line from the shoulder slope down to the chest line, and I'm going to be placing my curve like this and curve it out. If you're going with the sleeveless here, this is just how you go about it. But since I added the sleeve to mine, I'm going to be coming in ½ inch on that midpoint, then place my ruler like this and connect from that midpoint to the shoulder tip, then curve from that ½ inch to my bust width like you see me do it here, and my armhole curve is ready. Next, I'm going to start from this shoulder tip and come into how wide I want my neckline to be here. Once I mark it, I'll measure from that point to the center of the paper, and whatever it is I have there, that will be my neck width value. Then I'll also go ahead and go down to my neck depth. And if you don't know how to go about yours, just add 1.5 to 2 inches to your standard neckline. That is, let's say your standard neckline is 3 inches by 3 inches. You're going to be doing 5 inches as the neck width, or 4.5. Then for the neck depth, you're also using 4.5 or 5 inches. Then I will be coming down here to 1.5, which is my bust that value. That's the difference between my front length and the back length here. Then I'll connect it like this. Once I'm done with that, we are going to be working on the skirt. Okay, we are done with the top part for now. Then I'm going to start from this waistline and go down to my hip line of 7.5. You can just get your skirt pattern from this same pattern. Do you understand? And it's even easier this way. Just start from your waistline and go down to your hip line. For my case, it's about 7.5, and once I mark it, I'm going to be using my ruler to connect it like you see me do it here, and this will be the hip line. Then on that hip line, I'm going to be marking my hip measurement divided by 4, and here just ignore whatever you see me doing here because this is not part of it. You don't even need it. Just a waste of paper, or a waste of time, not a waste of paper, because you'll still be doing some connection but it won't get to that point. Then I made a mistake. I was supposed to connect from my actual waist measurement, not from the data allowance. I'll be collecting that later. I noticed on time, even before transferring to the fabric. But for now, for the back pattern, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'll go down to the chest line and mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2 on that point. Then I'll connect it like you see me do it here. Once that is done, I'm going to come in here from the center back to my standard neck width and then my actual neck width. Then I'll come down here to 1 inch and connect it to my standard neck width like you see me do it here. Now I'll just make sure that my neck width, the one I use for the back, is the same with what I have on the front here, and it's actually the same. Then I'll start from the shoulder line on this center back and go down to how low I want my neckline to be. For now, I did 8 inches, and you should do nothing less than 8 inches. Like, you can increase it if you want. But for now, I did 8 inches and later on I increased it to 10 inches. Just keep watching. Now I'm going to start from the shoulder slope and measure down to the chest line, get the midpoint there and mark it. And then I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4 here on the chest line, and on the waistline, the waist measurement divided by 4. You cannot see any dot, so we are not replacing any dot intake. We are just taking your actual measurement. Then you're going to curve from that bust width to this midpoint this way. And this was when I noticed that I made a mistake with the back length. The back length was supposed to be 1.5 shorter because of this bust dart. So what I'm going to do is to just minus this 1.5 from my waistline. Like you see me do it here, I'm going to be minusing 1.5 on the waistline. Then connect it this way, and then we take my waist measurement divided by 4 and connect it back to the bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'll start from that point now and go down to my hip line of 7.5. I will mark the same thing here on the center back, and like I said, ignore whatever I do after the hip line. So on the hip line, I'll take the hip measurement divided by 4, and then I try to get the knee measurement, which is not necessary, just a waste of time. I'll connect the measurement like this, and then the next thing we'll be doing now is the Basque effect. And for that, you're going to start from your hip line and come down to how pointy you want your basque to be. For me, I did 5 inches, and you should do nothing less than 2.5 from your hip line. Do you understand that? You should do nothing less than 2.5 from your hip line. You can increase it like I did here. Mine, I did 5 inches, yeah? And then you connect it to your hip line, but I won't advise you do that. So what you're going to do is to start from your waistline on this side seam line now, and come down to how low you want it. For me, I did 5 inches, and this 5 inches is just in between. If you're trying to create that hip illusion, you should be doing 2.5 or 3 inches. Do you understand? But then, like I said, this 5 inches is just in between. And then if you have a bigger hip you want people to see, yeah, I'm not talking about butt, hip, pronounced hip. You can even do 6 inches, or you just maintain your hip line. Do you understand? But like I said, this 5 inches is just in between, and you see the effect on me. Now the next thing we'll be doing now is to just go ahead and cut it out. I'll first separate the two patterns like you see me do it here. Then measuring from the waistline to this basque is about 13 inches. I try to also measure the back, and it's the same 13 inches. So yeah, that means that we added extra 8 inches to the measurement we have on the side. I came down 5 inches on my side, yeah. Then on the center, it's a total of 13 inches, meaning that I added 8 inches to the 5 inches I have on the side. Then I'll go ahead and cut the rest of the pattern out. Make sure you label the center back and the waistline so that you don't make any mistake. Then you're going to be cutting every other part. We won't be cutting the neckline for the back for now. And at this point, I still did not realize that I made a mistake with the waistline of this front skirt. But like I said, I see that even before transferring to the fabric. Now I will open up the bust dart, then close the waist dart like you see me do it here. And once I'm done, I'm going to close the bust dart back this way you see me do it. Then blend in the side seam like this. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out after blending it in and tracing it out here. I'll just go ahead and cut the rest of the pattern out. And after cutting, I tried to match up the neck width and the shoulder tip, and I needed to shade up some part on the front pattern like this. The next thing now is to cut the neckline, but first you're going to measure this line from your shoulder slope to your neck depth. Just measure the V line, yeah. Then you write it down so that you don't forget. For mine, it's about 9 inches. Yours might be bigger. Remember I said I ended up increasing it to 10 inches so that it's just in between, not too low. Like the cow back neck is not too low and not too high. And then after cutting it out, you're going to match up the side front and the side back, and shed off where you need to shed off, or you add to where you need to add. This one that I'm shedding off, you can decide to add a paper on the front pattern and even add up so that it's the same with the back, but I usually like to shed off instead of adding. Then now you're also going to repeat the same thing on the front and back skirt. Match up the side seam and take off any excess you need to take off. Now let me show you how to do it in case you don't want to have any waist seam. You're going to join your paper like this, and it was at this point that I realized that I added that allowance on the skirt pattern because I was not supposed to do that since we are not stitching any that on the skirt. So I took out that 1.5 And yeah, now I have my actual waist measurement divided by 4. So what you're going to do is to, if you want to do it, like you don't want to have any waist seam, go ahead and apply your water glue, or basically just place it on a fresh paper like this one and tape it down. Then you're going to also repeat the same thing with the skirt pattern. Apply your water glue on the waistline, then you bring it close to this one. But if you just want to have a waist seam, just go ahead and blend in the waistline of this top one, and then you cut it out. Okay, if you don't want to have any waist seam, join the skirt to this one. Just tape them down together. But if you want to have a waist seam, just go ahead and blend in the waistline of the top, and it's looking like this. Let's talk about the back. We'll come back to that. So for this, you have to come down up to about 5 inches before you mark a border line. And now remember this 9 inches we measured along the V neckline, yeah? You're going to mark that same value here. Yeah, once you mark it, you're now going to place your neck width on that point. You see what I'm doing here? You can decide to tape it down or you pin it down, but then you're going to hold it down there. Make sure it's firm, it's not shifting. Then you're going to tilt your pattern until your center front, the waistline, is touching the edge of the paper. Can you see it? Just make sure it's touching it, and then you're going to try by all means to hold this paper down, your pattern down, so that it doesn't shift or move from the spot. And then you're going to trace out the waistline, the side seam, the armhole, and the shoulder slope, which is like the shoulder line. Do you understand? You're tracing the shoulder slope, the armhole, the side seam, and the waistline. And afterwards, you're going to take out your pattern this way and cut it out. But if you want to, you can also decide to go ahead and highlight this point like you see me doing it here. That's the armhole, the side seam, the waistline. And that's pretty much about it. You're going to be cutting it out like you see me do it here. And that's how you go about your back cow neck. Before cutting it out fully, you are going to be adding a facing. And I'm doing a facing of 4 inches. You can do more if you want to. And yeah, if you're the lower you make your cow to be, yeah, the more you add the facing, so that your lining won't be popping out when you wear your dress. Do you understand? So after marking the facing, I'm going to fold it on this border line this way. Then go ahead and trace it out on the this part of the armhole and also on the shoulder slope. And after cutting it out, this is what it is looking like, opening it up. And then you can decide to go ahead and blend it in on this point if you want to. But since I will be joining my lining later to that facing, I'll just leave it like that. Again, if you want to go ahead and tape this down, but because the fabric I use humbled me, initially I wanted to do it like this. To be very honest, I didn't want to have any waist seam, but then this fabric I used here humbled me. Initially, I bought 4 yards and the skirt is quite long. You see where it started here? That makes it really long. Now, minus that from the 60 inches which this chiffon fabric comes in, you will see that what you have left is not enough. So if you don't want to have any waist seam, go ahead and make sure you have 5 yards. Just make sure you have 5 yards. But before you transfer to the fabric, you see that I taped it down here, yeah? The skirt and the top, yeah? I will try to match up the side seam once again to be sure that I'm working with the same thing, yeah? Then, like I said, I use 4 yards of this chiffon fabric. It's a chiffon fabric and it's not stretchy. So what we are going to do now is to cut out the skirt first before we use the remaining one to cut out the top. And then to cut the skirt, what you're going to do is to do your gown length. For me, it's about 62 inches. And then you're going to minus it from what you have from the shoulder to this point. And for me, it's about 21 inches. I already measured and it's about 21 inches. Just place your half length on the waistline, then measure it down, and it's about 21 inches. So the gown length is 62 and then the half length is 21. And what you are going to do is to do gown length minus half length, which is 62 minus 21, and we will have 41 inches left. Now this 41 inches will be the length for the skirt. And then for the wideness, what you are going to do is to measure this V part here, this Basque part. You're going to measure it, and for me, I have 12 and a half. By the time I open up my fabric, it's going to be 25, yeah, because 12 and a half plus 12 and a half is 25. Now the skirt length will be 41, and then the wideness will have 25 for the front, and you're going to do 25 times 4 or 25 times 3, depending on how full you want it. If you even want it fuller, you can do times 5 or times 6, but I settled with this 25 times 3. and that is giving me 75 inches. So the wideness now will be 75 and then the length will be 41. Ignore the 21 you're seeing. Oh. Of course, you know it's 41, yeah? That was a mistake on my part. Now it's going to be the same with the back too. So the front is 75 inches, the back 75 inches, meaning that I would need to cut a fabric of 150 inches in total for the wideness, both the front and back. Or better still, you cut it separately, 75 for the front, 75 for the back, and you have your 150. Then the length is 41, which you can add 2 inches to it so that you use half inch to join to the top and 1.5 to fold for the down. Then after cutting the skirt, this is the fabric I have left. I just transfer the front and back pattern and mark my allowance. Now for this back pattern, it's not even negotiable. Just go ahead and cut it on bias. Fold your fabric this way. The fabric is in two. You don't have to fold it like that if you don't want to. Just fold it in bias. Do you understand? In a single fold, you fold in bias and then you place your pattern on it. The back pattern, because of that cow neck, so that it will come out well. This fabric is not stretchy, so you just have to cut on bias so that it will flow well. But since I manage this fabric, this is what I have. You can even see that I have joining on the center front. Even though, to be very honest, even though I ended up getting another 1 yard, because after sewing, I didn't like that joining I have on the center front and the center back, because there is no zipper on the center back. What's the essence of having a joining on the center back? It just looked like a mistake. So I just had to get another 1 yard to do just for the top part. Do you understand? Then after cutting the front, make sure you notch your that width, that bust that, notch the width, that's the that legs, yeah, you notch it so that it will be easy for you to pick it and sew. For the side seam, I did 1 inch allowance. Then for every other part that I need to sew, I added half-inch sewing allowance. And that is just how I transfer the patterns to the fabric. I said that I ended up changing the fabric, yeah, like getting another one so that I don't have joining. Just go ahead and follow the same method and transfer your patterns to your fabric. And after cutting these out the pieces, we have the skirt, which is the longest fabric you see, and then the front pattern I have gone ahead to join it, iron it, and then cut my lining. At this point I was still sewing. Like, remember I said after sewing, before like the final ironing, I wasn't feeling it, so I had to take that top part out and then get another 1 yard to use it for the top. Then this is the front skirt. We have the back skirt, which I'm trying here to just lay the pattern in a way that you see my markings, the center front, the center back, and the waistline. Then for the skirt, I cut out my lining, which you will be stopping halfway, and that's the pieces we have so far for this dress. Then I also went ahead to cut out this flounce. I have two pieces of it, and don't worry, in the next video I'll be showing you how to go about cutting this flounce in case you don't already know. But yeah, go ahead and get your pieces ready, because in the next one I'll be showing you how to join them together. I hope I see you on my next one.